little one, and you are the Sanchez family. And yourself, you're Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you. And for anyone who isn't seeing the video at the moment, we have the beautiful baby Enzo. How old is Enzo?
Enzo is 3 months.
He's gorgeous. For anyone who hasn't heard of you guys and your family and your space, could you just tell me a little bit about yourselves and your background?
Yeah, so Mike and I are from Utah, USA, and we met in a local hospital. We're both registered nurses, and that's how we met. And we have always loved the outdoors and exploring, but after the birth of my youngest daughter, we kind of got a little bit of a wake-up call in life and chose to start adventuring a bit more with our kids. And that's when we got our van, and we travel whenever we can and just love making memories that way.
That's so lovely. So was there an experience with your daughter that just made you go, right, we've got to make the most of life?
Yes. So she was an emergency C-section where they thought at one point that we were going to lose her and then lose me at another point. So it was a scary situation, and I think just almost losing her, made us kind of pause and say, we're done waiting for someday. We'd be like, someday we'd love to do this with the kids. Someday we'd love to do this. And we decided that someday wasn't really a guaranteed timeline. So we made it happen now. And now we're just trying to fill up as much time of memories as we can.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's a lovely saying as well, to not wait for someday.
Yes.
I think that's really, really nice. That's so lovely. Could you just talk us through the layout of your space that you've got?
Yeah, so we're definitely more simple, because I think where a lot of, like van life couples can prioritize nice showers and stuff. We had to prioritize beds.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of us.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if you can see. So what we have is two, we have bunk queen.
Yeah.
They're actually a little bit larger than a queen. They're wider. And so we have two beds that size, and we're very short people. And so we can, even in a Sprinter van, we can lay widthwise.
Oh, nice.
Has made the beds just that much bigger. And so the two bunks, and then a lot of storage space, because kids come with a lot of stuff, even when you're going minimally. And I don't know if you can see, we have storage that goes all the way across the top, that has been helpful in just having a space for all of the things. Kids, it's really important that they know that, like, their space matters too, even if it's a small space. So we have one of these drawers here that's completely dedicated to toys and their notebooks and
nice,
their things, so that they can have space. And then dual purpose things are huge for us. And so our couch here in the van here is like a living room couch, but that's actually our bench seat. That when we drive, we flip it forward facing so that, it's up to safety standards and it's clipped in as it should be. And that fits 3 of the car seats across. And then we have 3 seats up front that we put Enzo in the front middle, since there's no airbag there. And he gets to be right by me, so I can take care of his needs while we drive and stuff.
That's so cool. I love how you've done that bed as well. That's almost suspended. It looks like it's got some steel work frames so that it can be fixed in.
So it's on an L track.
I see.
So it can, that can be removed if we need it. if someday there's less of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Or if we're traveling with big things, we can remove the bed and
Yeah.
put things in. So
I love that. I love that. You guys have the ethos which you just said about, which was to stop waiting for someday and start filling your children's lives with experiences and memories. And I just love that. I love that sentence. It's almost like an affirmation. I love it. What have you guys done so far?
oh man, I think whenever we think about the van, the same experience comes to the mind of each of us. Is it's really brought, nature literally to your door. We've always taken the kids hiking, and they've always been in the mountains a lot, but it's just so different. We had one morning where it was before we had our portable toilet in the van. That's an upgrade for us.
Oh, lovely.
One morning the kids were waking up, and needing to use the bathroom, so we're getting them all ready, and we swung the door open to go out, and there were two large bull moose just hanging out right outside our van. And we were like, oh, and we just kind of scooted back, and we threw into the van. But then we sat there just on the bed here with the door open, and these two moose hung out for about 2 hours, and we didn't get out of the van, obviously, but just having that experience of seeing them right up close was just incredible. And like, that's the kind of stuff that we have just loved, just bringing that kind of stuff right to the door. It has been amazing.
Yeah, they're moments that are so precious, aren't they? Like, to experience that firsthand, not through a TV, and yeah, that's amazing. That, and like you say, they're memories for you to cherish, but your kids, they will remember that for the rest of their lives, those sort of things.
Yeah,
I love that. Yeah, so even Enzo agrees. I love that. So how do you keep all your kids entertained? I'm intrigued about how you keep them entertained whilst you're sort of driving to places. And then have you got any tips of how you keep them entertained, sort of if the weather's maybe not so good, because you can keep them outdoors and you can go exploring. And I guess there's that saying as well that as long as you've got the right clothes, you could go out in the rain and things like that. But sometimes you find there are times where actually, no, you just need to sort of be inside the van.
Yes, definitely. We obviously try to spend most of our time outside. When people sometimes have a hard time when they see pictures of us in the van and think, oh, your kids are all cramped in there. And I think, well, for the most part, no, they're not. They sleep here, but their yard is quite huge. You know? But on those times, we have been caught in some pretty bad storms and things like that. And like I said, like the drawer that we have that's for them, we have an array of like art projects and science experiments. And like the kids love to do things like break open geodes or try different experiments. And we so we do a lot of that in the bad weather. We do a lot of art and painting. We do have a TV
oh, cool.
wall, if it gets to that. But we try to let the kids use their creativity, and they've painted many art projects on rainy days.
That's so nice though. And they have so many things that they can think of to paint as well, for all the sceneries and the things that they see, and sort of, I bet their imagination runs wild. Oh, that's so lovely. It's really interesting to hear how you get on, because that's one thing that a lot of people always want to know, is how they can do this, either have trips or live, even if it was full-time, and even if it was a weekend trip, for example, and how they can do that but also keep their kids entertained. And it's like you say, actually most of the time that space is just so that they can have a sleep, which makes sense. You don't need to worry about that so much. I really like that. It's really, really nice. And with the outdoors, and you've said about nature's connection and your children, everything that is bringing. Did you say that that has only started when you started having your van space to go out and explore in?
Well, we've always valued their time in nature, and we've always raised them to be outdoorsy,
Oh,
but
lovely.
it has just amplified it so much. There was, during the first summer that we had the van and we were just traveling as much as possible, uh, my 2-year-old mentioned to somebody that her home was in the mountains. And for me,
Oh.
I was like, oh no, she doesn't know that we have a home. And and then I thought, oh, that's okay. That's exactly what I want her to know. It,
Yeah.
that the home is wherever we are together, and that changes. And so it has definitely um, amplified that respect and that love they have for nature. And they've really embraced things like, you know, they're typical little kids that have toys that they love, and they have some toys in their drawer.
Yeah.
I was a little worried, like, how's that going to be transitioning to not having a toy room or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They have done things like gather different size sticks, and that's become their art project of the day when they draw faces on all of them. And so
Oh, yeah.
they have a family of dolls. They have been extremely creative in incorporating nature into all their play.
Ah, I love that. That's so special. It's a beautiful way of learning as well. And like you say, just playing and exploring. Do you find that for people who maybe don't know and don't understand sort of van life, do you get people sort of question and think, oh, how are you doing this with your kids? Or is the most part, most people are like, this is so cool. I love what you're doing.
Um, it Most people, would say, in life are very kind and very positive. Um,
Yes.
we have had a large number of surprising reactions to me of not just misunderstanding what we're doing, and being like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Even as far as people just telling us that it's outright wrong and neglectful to our children to do this. And so that's been surprising at how much pushback that we've received from people that don't know us, don't know
Yeah.
our story, and clearly don't care to know if all they want to do is tell us how wrong it is. So
Yeah, definitely. Does it make you feel a certain way when you have that sort of that comment brought to you that isn't what you're expecting to hear?
it did at first. I think I was a lot more vulnerable to people's thoughts of
Yeah.
what we do. And yeah, comments would hurt, and I'd be like, is this bad? Is it bad that they're somewhere different every week and that
Yeah.
they're doing this? And I would question myself and kind of had to get in a place of evaluating my parenting and what we found important, and coming to the
Yes.
conclusion that no, this is exactly what we want. The children are happy. We check
Yeah.
in with them often. Do you want to head home? Is this
Yeah.
good? In fact, when we come back, it's always very disappointing to them. And definitely we've come in a place that now it can kind of roll off. And when people give their opinions, I know it's not so much about us anymore. Especially
Yes.
a lot of the things that we'd get were in regards to our race, and the fact that Mike and I are different races. And and when it got to that level is when I was like, oh, this has nothing to do with us.
No,
And
it's
nothing.
not to do with you directly or personally. It's to
Yeah.
do with a whole wider cultural thing. So do you find it sounds like the whole multicultural upbringing and race and the fact that you're mixed race family and things like that, it sounds like that has brought up loads of people's opinions that they've sort of just sent towards you guys, regardless of you wanting them. How, I'm interested to know how you sort of get bound that. Do you sort of just switch off from it, or because there's a lot of couples and families or people who want to have families, and even just couples or individuals who I know do have this, and I find it bizarre because to me everyone is everyone. But it does happen, and it'd be really interesting to know how you guys deal with it.
You know, if anything, it has fueled the fire for me.
Yeah.
Because especially I got a message recently from someone who I think was more well-meaning than some of the nasty comments we get.
Yeah.
And said, you know, why don't you make your Instagram private so that people don't see this? And I thought, no, that's exactly why it is not private.
Yeah.
Because my little biracial children deserve to know that they belong anywhere and everywhere.
Definitely.
And that what they do is not something that they have to hide. And
Yeah.
they get to be proud of who they are and know that they belong in the outdoors as much as the next person.
Yes.
And so, you know, no, I won't go private, despite all the comments, because I want my children to know, you know, who you are is never something you need to make private.
Yes.
And you are valuable in who you are. And so, if anything, I just think I want them to be out there and be representations, so that when another little brown girl who may not feel like she belongs, maybe will see and know, like, oh, if they can feel like they can do it, then I can too.
Yes, exactly. And that's the most beautiful thing, because I'm lucky that I get to chat to different people from different backgrounds, different cultures, different races, all around the world. And there's people who are our age who have said to me they wish that there was someone sooner that either looked like them, or who were doing the outdoor things or the van life, or living in a tiny space, or adventuring, so that they saw it sooner and said to themselves, oh, they're the same as me. Oh, I can do that. That's fun. Otherwise, with Instagram, all they're seeing is the same person or same sort of style of person, and they don't see every different person. So I think, I think what you're doing is so valuable, especially for the future and for your children as well. Because then when people see, you know, another little girl might be with her mum and see your kids or little boy as well, and yeah, it's really, really lovely. I think that's how we can make changes with it as well, I think.
I sure hope so. That's our hope in doing it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's so lovely. I love that. I think it's a shame that it's still happening and it goes on, but I think the way that you deal with it's really inspiring, and I think that's hopefully is something that can help other people out there in the same situation as well, and can sort of understand that you can just go, no, I'm happy doing this. This is what I want for my family, and it's almost being quite strong, isn't it? It's being strong-willed to know, no, I know what we want.
You have to. It has definitely made me a lot more solid in my convictions, which just helps, because the more comments, the stronger we are, and
yes,
you know, we stand behind what we do. And
yeah, definitely. Oh, I love that. Oh, Enzo is so beautiful. On Instagram, I always like to invite my community to ask a question to yourselves, and the question that they've asked is, do you have any tips on feeding the family and your baby whilst on the road?
Oh wow. Well, he's easy because he's exclusively breastfed, so he's the easiest one of the bunch. The others are the bottomless pits that are a little more difficult. For us, I think the biggest thing has been to plan ahead and to have, um, especially at home. I'm really not good at meal planning it, and it has really made me kind of buckle down and
Yes.
okay, you know, if it's this many weeks, how often do we need to stock up, or even if it's a weekend, you know, how are we going to do it so it doesn't take a lot of space? And so having plans ahead of time, and then things that don't take a lot of space is the problem. Is you don't have a great big fridge and freezer combo.
Yeah.
And we don't have anything fancy like that, and so we have to use our space wisely and always keep, like, have you ever had like Mountain Meals, the
the pack one? Yeah. I haven't had them, but I know the ones that you mean.
We always keep a stock of them in the van so that if we plan poorly, we still
That's
have.
a good idea. Yeah, you got to always have a backup.
Yes. So
Yeah.
if we're off grid and we realize that we didn't plan well, then we have that.
That's a good tip.
And then things that we can make into multiple meals help.
Yeah.
You know, if we have a you know, like a sausage and noodle dinner, and we can repurpose sausage into the morning for with the eggs, and things that we can spread across multiple meals so that it's less space.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a really handy tip, actually, like you say, utilizing that meal so then you can use it in the morning as well. That's really, really helpful. They're great tips. I love those. That's so handy. It's always interesting to know, because people do say to themselves, I want to do this with my family, but there's all these little things that they don't know how to sort of get round until you do it. And have you found that actually by just doing it, you found your way along things?
100%. I would say for anyone that says, oh, but I don't know how, I think you just do a couple trips close by.
Yeah.
So that, you know, we've even had a trip where we, at one of our stops, we had taken stuff out and then failed to load it, and our food was left somewhere.
Oh, no.
And so someone found a nice big box of food, so that was good. But you know, you just figure it out by trial and error, and that one cost us you know, an hour trip back into a town, and it happens. The more often you do it, the easier it becomes. Just like with parenting, none of us know what we're doing when they send us home with a baby.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. I love that. I always like to ask my guests at the end of each podcast episode a question which is a sustainability question, and that is, sustainability wise, what do you wish that you or we had more of?
I'm sorry, can you say again?
Of course. Sustainability wise, what do you wish that you or we had more of?
Oh man. I wish that there was more, for me, just more knowledge. I think when we talk about sustainability and people give out their ways to, you know, be eco-friendly, I feel like a lot of times it comes off as like this monumental task, and you're like, I don't see how I can make a difference. And I think we need more exposure to it, and then just more accessibility to things that are eco-friendly. Like, I personally wish we couldn't buy plastic straws. Like, I wish
they just didn't exist.
And I feel like if it was just not an option, people would figure out, like, just like how we've had to just kind of figure out some of our travels. If those were just not made, people wouldn't suddenly be like, well, now we can't drink. You know, you would make adjustments. And I feel like the thing that's lacking is almost the acceptance of it, or the, you know, the getting people on board.
Yes.
Because they're like, well, this is here and this is easy. And so
Yeah.
If we just eliminated
Those
that,
easy things that aren't right. Yeah.
and people would adjust. No one's going to just stop drinking. They're going to get the metal straws. They're going to get the reusable water bottles. But I think until there's buy-in from the majority, it will be a hard thing to curb.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's such a good answer. I was thinking about it earlier as well, and I think it's that thing that until people buy more of those things, it will then also become more affordable to get those things, because more people buying, then you can buy in bulk as a seller and things like that. And like you say, if that happened and those things were eliminated and straight away they provided the other alternative, people would just buy that thing, because you don't have the choice, do you? You've just got the good choice instead of the bad choice, which, yeah, no, that's a great answer. I love that. And for anyone who wants to find out more about yourselves, you guys are on Instagram, aren't you? And it's under the Be Bold Little one, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Oh, it's so lovely to chat to you, Rachel. It's really lovely to have Enzo with us, and I know that you've got Mike outside. He's doing some work as well, isn't he?
Yes, he is always in meetings, and he works hard for us to let us have the fun that we do.
That's so lovely. That's so nice. What's your next trip that you've got planned?
We're thinking Valley of Fire. It's in Nevada. So
wow.
we want to head down there, and I like going to warm places in the winter because I'm not a huge fan of the cold.
I don't blame you.
They make us chase the sun a little bit.
I don't blame you. Oh, Rachel and Enzo, thank you so much for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Oh, that was so lovely. It's so lovely to chat to you. It's really interesting, and it's so frustrating at the same time that you guys have to experience like all these views, and it's a reality that shouldn't be. It frustrates me that it even happens, but that's why I love being able to meet all of these different people and all of you.
Yeah, what an awesome opportunity for you. I feel like, you know, nothing surprises me anymore, and whether that's good or bad, when we get comments and stuff, I just screenshot and I'm like, I don't know if you've seen that I recently did.
No, I didn't. I have to have a look.
I did a reel of things that people have said to us. And for the most part, I can take it lighthearted like that, and I'm just like, you know.
Yeah.
Thanks, you helped me make a reel. But the ones that are saying how wrong we are to create mixed breeds and stuff, those are the ones that I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and that's a whole other level, and that's a whole
that kind of freedom of speech on my page. Like,
that's the thing. And it's bizarre that Instagram, like with technology these days, I find it bizarre that certain words aren't picked up because technology is so advanced, and it baffles me because they can do it. It exists. So it baffles me that certain words aren't picked up because they can do it on other things. So it's very, very bizarre. Well, I don't know if you want any more kids, but I think you should carry on. They're beautiful, your children. Oh, they're so lovely. Enzo was so chilled as well.
He's such a good one. He's a happy kiddo. I appreciate that.
Oh no, absolutely no. It's absolute pleasure. I'm so happy I got to chat to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.